2022 Skate America pairs outcome as well as the Golden Skate of Moscow. Pairs at the Skate America was really a tale of two divas. Honestly, I was not expecting much from the pairs. Currently, the pairs program globally is in a rebuilding stage. It takes a long time for two skaters to merge into one and perform at such a high level with difficult skills. Right now, all of these pairs are really messy. However, I want everybody to try to imagine what they will be like in 3 years from now. We may actually end up with some real jewels in terms of the pairs that comes out of this Olympic cycle. Now, starting with the short program, the top three were two of the teams that I expected, plus one surprise. In third place was Letitia Rocher and Louis Chuster from Germany. They were here with their coach, Olympic pair medalist Robin Solowski, who happened to be the former partner of Alyona Sachevsko, who was also here with her team, the twin brother and sister pair of Greta and John Crawford. Figure skating is just such a cesspool of drama. Anyhow, Leticia and Louis had a clean short program. However, the long was quite scary with several lifts not being completed. And by the time that program was over, I literally was terrified for both of the skaters. Unfortunately, they went from like third place to last place. Um, I honestly thought this was going to be a US 1 and 3 podium. However, the other two US teams didn't quite rise to the opportunity, and it was the young Canadian team of Kelly and Lauren and Lucas Ether who ended up on the podium. I really didn't see that coming. And you guys know how much I love a surprise in figure skating. The pair seemed so happy with their win and they're so young and they were quite charming. This is another young pair team that don't have the elements right now. But again, who knows what they'll have in 3 years from now. Now, the silver and gold could have gone either way, especially in the short. I personally would have given it to Diana Stiletto Duduc and Maxime Deschamps. The reason being that they had the better constructed program. Diana and Maxine's short program is classy with great flow and balance. They had more tension and passion in their short. And Diana lives for the lifts. She literally cannot hold a bad position in the air. Now, having said that, I don't think the judges are wrong for putting Alexa Canarum and Brandon Fraser in first place in the short. While their program is more basic, they delivered it cleanly with high energy. So, in my opinion, putting them first was completely reasonable. Now, for the free, I know some viewers probably do not understand why the clean program of Diana and Maxim was beaten by Alexa and Brendan, who had a fall on the step throw. Again, while I prefer Diana and Maxine's program, I understand why Alexa and Brendan came first. In terms of package, Diana and Maxim were perfectly packaged. They had great music. They had a heartfelt and passionate, clean program. Honestly, I really feel like the end result should have been a lot closer, with Alexa and Brendan winning by just 1 point. However, while I don't like the gap between the two teams, I still agree that Alexa and Brendan should have won. To start with, they had better jumps. Also, Deanna and Maxine did a really cool looking but much easier death drop. By doing a harder death trap, Alexa and Brendan made up for some of the points that they lost on their throw triple loop. They also maxed out their points by doing 3 level 4 lifts. While Deanna and Maxine had an easier overall program with some close calls on the triple flip and a bit of a struggle on their last lift. All in all, it was a fair call by the judges, in my opinion. I agree that Alexa and Brendan taking this win is the right way to go. Now, I hope Alexa and Brendan go back and do some of the work that they need to clean this program up and come back even stronger. As for Deanna, I just wanted to mention that she is winning her second silver medal 22 years after winning her first silver medal in the 2000 Junior Worlds. Can we please give this queen diva her flowers? Honestly, like I had said before, I am a fan of both of these teams. So either way it goes, I would have been happy, and I am perfectly happy with this result. Now, getting to the Golden Skate of Moscow. I was a little disappointed that we did not have the, pose Russian opening. However, we did have everything else. Now, I'm going to start with the men. The men were as we could expect. I always found it odd how the pressure applied to the Russian girls and women in skating differs from what is applied to the boys and the men. For the girls and the women, they are pressured to get their quads and their triple axels in like juniors. Yet, here we were at a senior men's event, and we had 8 men competing. And in that short program, there were only 5 quads attempted and only 3 cleanly landed. I just think the contrast between the men and the women's program in Russia is a little stark. Some good things that did happen in the men. I was really, really happy to see Daniel Sensenov back on the ice. This was a little skater that I loved in juniors. And unfortunately, 2 years of injuries have kept him off the ice. And I was glad to see him back. I wish he did not have to stay with Team Tuberetsi. However, given Eteri's power in the Federation, this was probably his best option. The one thing that I love about the Russians is that they have no shame about their game. They really went and gave Mikhail Kulyada a 95.27 for a short program with no quad. In contrast, Kyle Muir received a 94.96 for a triple sow cow plus triple toe and a quad toe. The free was, of course, a hot mess for the men. Starting with Kolyada, this was probably one of his worst performances to date. My man literally pantomimed his way off of that podium. The judges did their best to give Kolyada the win, but he just could not do the rest. The highlight for the men's for me really was having Dmitry Aliev perform 2 beautiful quad toe and 1 beautiful quad sow. This wasn't a perfect outing for him, but I feel like it's at least in the right direction, and I'm so glad to see him performing uninjured. Then I moved on to the pairs. Pairs was as expected. It was amazing. Why? Because Russia has a pair training program that has been specialized to the max. This is a dynasty. What surprised me in pairs is the fact that Yevgenia Teresova and Vladimir Morozov delivered another clean short program. Unfortunately, in the long program, We had a return of the Yevgenia and Vladimir we all know. They messed up both of the side by side jump passage and both of the throws. Yet, the most amazing thing of all is that they still managed to get away with a silver medal and was only 3 points away from snatching the gold. Oh my God. Miss Tuberetsi may take 40%, but that woman works for her 40% because those judges must have been deaf, dumb, and blind to have come out with that score. And then my favorite event at the Golden Cup of Moscow was the ice dance. And this was because this was the debut of Annabelle Morozov and David Narazin. Yes, pretty plus pretty on ice was everything I wanted and more. Honestly speaking, guys, this pairing is good. There is an earthy, passionate connection to this team that was threatening to melt my screen. They are fast, clean, and entertaining. Honestly, if I had to score them between them and what was going on in Skate America and the rhythm dance, I would have placed them ahead of Hawaii and Baker. That's how good I thought they were in the rhythm dance. The free dance was all about, again, Annabelle and David, and then the pair of Vasilisa Kagnovskaya and Valerie Angelopoulos. Starting with Vasilisa and Valerie, this young team is so special. Their free dance was innovative and complex, yet they delivered it effortlessly. I'm really looking forward to seeing their growth. Now, for Annabelle and David, the free dance was very light and easy. Nothing wow, but very respectable. They are both tall and elegant looking, and you cannot help but focus on them. Now, if I was part of the Annabelle David team, let me just say I would start the citizenship for David for France today. I mean, okay, let's say the ISU and the IOC cave and the Russian athletes come back next season. Then everything is fine. However, if 2 years go by and the Russians are still banned, this would be my plan for Annabelle and David. First, I would go see their godmother, Miss Tatiana Teresova, and then I would go see their godfather, Mr. Alexei Yagudin. I would have them both go on national television. I would have them crying about how the West hates Russia, how the West is jealous of Russia, how the West is out to destroy our skaters. I would have them mention how it is now impossible for the skaters to skate and thrive at home, and they have to leave Mother Russia even though they don't want to. And then a few days later, I would have Annabelle and David come on TV and mention how much they love Mother Russia and they want to skate for Russia. However, they have no choice but to leave for France. This way, they can leave with all the support of Russia and then start preparing for the Olympic in France. That's what I would do if I was this team. But we'll wait and see what happened. And then lastly, we had the women. This was a very Russian judging event. They gave Kamila Valieva a 83.9 for what amounted to a bunch of double jump in the program. Let's cut out the crap and let us be honest. Camilla's jumps are all cheated. That child cannot complete 3 rotation in the air to save Eteri Tuberetsi's life. Please watch every other skater that was in this competition. Not the international skaters, but the actual Russian skaters. Every single one of those ladies, whether they landed on their feet or on their backside, did 3 rotation in the air. Kamila is the only skater in the field that both in real time and in replay cheat her jump. Kamila literally does a full rotation on the ice and only 2 rotation in the air. In fairness, Kamila should not be scored as doing a triple triple, but she should be scored as doing a double double, and she shouldn't be getting +2 in GOE. The other skaters in Russia needs to start calling this bullshit. They are being beaten not by a skater who is better than them, but by a skater who is better backed. Every other young skater in that competition, including Sofia Ikatieva, are doing the extra work to jump the right way. Yet they are receiving less points than Kamila, whose jumps are clearly cheated. I honestly feel like pre-rotated jumps should be downgraded the same way under-rotated jumps are. As for the long program, this was a complete joke. I already said what I thought about Camilla's free program in another video, so I'm not going to rehash it here. What I will say is that no one on that judging panel or on Team Tuberidze or the audience or the world believed that Kamila earned an 83.92 in the short program, and no one believed that she won that long program. They are using this child as a propaganda piece, and it is harmful to her both physically and emotionally. Kamila is not the only skater being hurt by these scores. We also have poor Sofia Ikatieva, who skated her heart out. That child looked so stressed after her program was over, and in the end, what she learned from that was hard work and talent does not pay. No matter what Eteri does now to these girls, there is no way they will leave because it has been made entirely clear that it doesn't matter if you're good or not, if you compete good or not, you can still win if Eteri Tuberidze backs you. I mean, now that they've paraded poor Kamila Valieva out, I hope they allow her to pull out of the rest of the competition. This is just too sad to see. This child deserves to be protected, not to have what's going on happen to her. We can all see that Camilla is never going to go back to where she was technically. Making her go through this is just pointless and cruel. Anyways, this was my take on the men's event at Skate America, as well as my take on the first leg of the Russian Grand Prix, the Golden Cup of Moscow. What about you guys? What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments.